Shiny.
Very shiny. Still looks like the Sulaco. Still can't see where that giant bridge is. So, welcome to Secret Bonus Episode 11 of the Halo 1 Cooperative Conversations, where, again, we are going to take a look at the anniversary treatment of the game, starting right back here at the very first mission. I don't know how long this episode is going to end up being, but we do plan on spending just a little bit of time in each mission, kind of looking at the differences in art style and environment and atmosphere in each level. Some key points in each one. So already we see the Captain Keyes. Yeah. He looks way different. He looks like an old Chris Pine.
Until we decelerated, no one could have missed the whole.
Wouldn't it have been funny if they had used the wrong Keyes model again? The beta Keyes.
It's just the original, the original 2001 Keyes model up against all these like Reach assets. That is something. A lot of the Halo 1 anniversary treatment actually is just reusing assets from Halo Reach, which is fine. I'm not condemning it for that. It's just funny in some areas where you have some vehicle mismatches, like the Scorpion tank having a position for a gunner, but you can't get in as a gunner. Or the Wraiths having the front turret, but nobody gets in it and it doesn't fire because Wraiths in Halo 1 didn't have a secondary weapon.
Another interesting thing to note is that the Pelicans, you can kind of notice it in this cutscene, the seats are arranged with the pilot and co-pilot sitting in front of each other, like a front and back, whereas the original Pelican model had them sitting side to side, with the door in between them.
You heard the lady. Move like you got a purpose.
This is not a drill.
So some of these assets,
design.
This is not a drill.
Yeah, some of these assets are new. Like Johnson wasn't in Reach as far as I know, so like they did make original assets for this. It's fine. But like these Marines are just from Reach. The Warthog is the same.
Now move it out. Double time.
We are playing on easy for this just to get through these levels faster. Whatever. We're not actually playing again.
Hey, you saw us beat it on heroic. We know
Yeah,
what we did.
if you're this far into this series, you've already seen us suffer through the last 3 missions of this game.
Sir?
That man looks like he ate a bee.
Out. Okay. Bringing low-level systems online. Cracking the case.
I mean, it's better than them all having the exact same head rig, right?
Yeah.
Like,
oh god, we're playing on easy. We'll have to do the tutorial.
oh
He's hot. Blowing the pins in 5.
So, Remaster Chief, we'll take a closer look once we can... He seems... weird looking.
yeah. You know, that sort of thing.
Oh, what? I guess we don't have to do the tutorial. Awesome. Yes.
Small mercies.
So, I don't... something in the waist area. Like the pouches... I think what they did was they were worried that the pouches were going to make him look too chubby, so they narrowed his waist. But when, like, the pouches aren't in a certain area, you can tell that he has, like, a very thin waist now. I don't know. It looks mostly good, but something about that's just odd.
I think it's just the bodily proportions in general. The head seems a bit too small to me. It's odd.
His shoulders are very narrow, or at least it gives
Yeah.
the impression of it. Something seems off in the weight of the body here, of like how the armor sits on it and all that.
Yeah. Probably because they wanted him to be roughly the same proportions as like the regular humans, but while being in the armor.
Oh yeah.
So
But yeah, so we see our first look, and the Pillar of Autumn Definitely looks a lot better here.
Alert, all hands. Boarding
I guess we can see this guy blow up this time.
12. Baker team, move.
Yeah.
Kablooey!
Oh, there he goes.
Poor guy.
So, the biggest thing going forward in terms of visuals is that everything's a lot brighter.
Yes. And of course, in case you were wondering what this place looked like without having to go back to the first episode again, we can always hit this handy little button. Oh, look at that. The magic of this 10-year-old game. Yeah, they did get this anniversary treatment running on the 360, which is impressive to have both of these loaded at the same time. So yeah, I stopped myself from ever pressing this button during the main campaign, but here we are. And yeah, it's just better looking. The Pillar of Autumn looks more... It doesn't change the level design, but it looks like some areas at least have a little more character to them.
Everything has more depth, really, is the big thing, right?
Yeah. The geometry does change, so like these struts here, these like hydraulic struts, you can just walk right through them, but whatever. The some more egregious geometry changes are coming later, unfortunately. Yeah, you're also using the Reach models for the elites and stuff. The differentiation between their ranks is a little more pronounced because of that.
A big thing actually with the elite models for Reach is that as the series went on, the elites got I don't know how to really put it, more streamlined, skinnier, smoother, right? And,
oh yeah.
And it was a big thing that for Reach, they made them bigger, more imposing, chunkier, more ripped.
Yeah, Reach is definitely the most chunky and ripped that elites ever get. Totally.
Well, there's that one game, the RTS.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about, Skullsor. The RTS. Don't worry.
Oh, okay.
The barricade room, so again, like, look how dark it is. And, okay, sure, we're being attacked, but, like, you can see that there are no lights that would shine normally. Like, it's not that power's cut out in this part of the room. It's literally just, there are no light sources, so...
Well, I think a big thing is that in the original Halo, the flashlight was like, ooh, because if you turn it on with the classic graphics on, it's like, oh, flashlight, right?
Yeah, it's real-time lighting. Wow.
Yeah. Whereas, you know, that's not as impressive these days, so they can sort of just have everything be well lit.
Yeah. Goodbye. So we'll just run through this escape sequence and see all this. Then we're not going to see anything much different, so we'll probably hop over to the second level right after this.
Yeah.
Captain Keyes.
I do want to see Cortana's
Good
grin.
to see you, Master Chief. Things aren't going
Oh yeah.
Cortana did her best.
When she'll actually have facial bones instead of different head models they can swap in and out. Also, this is the Halo 3 model, isn't it?
I believe so. It looks very similar to it.
No thanks to your drive.
Yeah, she doesn't quite have the same garters that she did in Halo 2.
Report.
It must have
And
been
of
one
course
their
Halo
boarding
4
parties.
hadn't
I
been
guess an
released yet,
antimatter
so...
charge.
Ma'am, fire control for the main cannon is offline.
Captain, the cannon was my last offensive option.
All right, then. I'm initiating Cold Protocol Article 2. We're abandoning the Autumn. That means you too, Cortana.
While you do what? Go down with the ship?
In a manner of speaking. The object we found, I'm going to try and land the Autumn on it.
With all due respect, sir, this war has enough dead heroes.
Halo's
I
very
appreciate your
visually
concern,
different.
Cortana, but it's not
It is. It has a lot more
Protocol is
glowy
clear.
shit on it.
Destruction or capture of a shipboard AI is absolutely unacceptable.
And we'll definitely want to take a look after this cutscene to see
Lock and
how
select emergency landing zones, upload them to
how
the
that
lace, and then sort yourself.
closeness is affected. I don't actually remember offhand.
Which is where you come in, Chief. Get Cortana off this ship.
Chief's like, I don't know what to do with my hand.
They capture her, they learn everything.
My very
Force
small
deployment
hand.
weapons
They're
research.
very small. So, I've never tried this, so I might be talking into my ass here. Apparently you can switch graphics during the cutscenes as well, but 343, when this was ported to PC, was like,
Thank you.
doing this will randomly switch your audio devices. Given that we're recording right now, I don't want that to happen, so I'm not gonna try it.
Yeah, probably not for the best.
Good luck, Master Chief.
That's a... Yeah, Keyes' model in
Your architecture
Reach
is
is,
much different from the Autumn's.
weird
Don't get
looking.
any funny ideas.
Mm.
I don't keep it loaded, son. You'll have to find ammo as you go.
Alright, here we
Yeah,
go.
let's take a look. It's still right out there.
Yeah.
Glass is a little more transparent, though. You can...
Yeah.
I believe that's also a problem with the Gearbox port, one of their transparency shader issues. So we won't mention it.
Shader, transparent, generic.
Thanks,
hey, that's right.
Randy!
Look, they changed the message board.
Oh, yeah. You can actually read them.
We need to get going, Chief. We need to get off the ship before it's completely overrun by Covenant.
Also, be remiss to
Oh, wow.
not mention. Lost Calico Cat answers to Jonesy. Jonesy was a ginger tomcat, not a calico. For ripping that movie off so much, they sure didn't fucking pay attention anyway. We're gonna hop out of this level, and we'll join you in the next on the Halo itself.
Until then.
The others, the impact.
So here we are.
Nothing we can do.
Yeah, and at once we can tell there's a lot more going on here. It's
Yep.
very pretty.
Much more lush.
Much more lush. You
Warning.
actually
I've
have...
detected multiple
You have like
Covenant
hints of it
dropships
up
on
here with
I
like this
recommend moving
texture,
into
but
those hills.
seeing
We're
the
lucky.
the
Covenant
foliage
will
like
believe that
drape
everyone
over the
aboard
cliff
this lifeboat
face,
died in the crash.
real good. Of course, looking at this highlighted an issue that right now is mostly cosmetic, but going forward will affect gameplay somewhat, which is of course the actual line of this terrain is very different. Of course, up here it doesn't matter. We will never, ever touch this. So, for purely visual, I think this is fine to change it this much. It's still the same general shape, but like, you know, you have some different parts. The issue will come when we can get to some taller trees.
But aside from that, there's also the distant geometry here being very different, giving us a much more detailed vista.
Yeah, not, again, it does change quite a bit. This seems like more... Like there's more land immediately below us, but it's very poorly defined land. It's... It
You
looks
see trees
only...
down there, though.
Yeah, it looks only barely better than the outro to these videos. But switch over to Anniversary and like, oh, wow. They changed the coastline shape, but it looks like there's more to the world down there. It makes you really think you could, like, oh, if I could just survive this fall, I could go down there and run around.
Another little detail I noticed while switching is in the original graphics, the little compass on your assault rifle is it's like locked to 8 directions, and if you switch to the Anniversary graphics, it's actually free floating.
Oh, look at that! I actually never noticed that, so good catch. Yeah, the skybox is still not animated. Okay, they do have a little bit of animation. They have like these clouds. That's what I was looking for.
Alert! Covenant
but yeah, they're
dropship
just
inbound. They must be looking for
basically the
survivors.
same
I
thing,
recommend
much
immediate
higher
evasion.
resolution, redrawn, and all that. Overall, like, right here, this is pretty darn good.
The drop ship, pretty much the same. There's not a whole lot you can really do with that model to make it more
Yeah,
detailed.
they kind of went away
Alert.
from the spirit
Covenant dropship
dropships
has
in
detected
later
us. Here they
games.
come.
I think the Phantom is a better representation of the Covenant art style, anyway.
So now we'll take a closer look at the Covenant here.
Yeah. So maybe this isn't the exact same model from Reach. Maybe it is, like, a little redone. I'm not entirely sure.
It's still
But-
much beefier.
Oh yeah, it's still in the same style of Reach, of, like, giving them dedicated armors for the rank rather than just the color.
The jaws also aren't broken on the anniversary.
Yeah.
That's rude.
They are using the Reach Banshees. I don't like the Reach Banshees. I don't know why they changed the design so much.
I guess they wanted like the points of articulation to sort of imply function, even though it was fine.
And I like the classic, like, stick arm and, like, canister engine. Looks like a big old Pringles can.
Yeah. So, going over here, we get our first little taste of the differences in Forerunner architecture.
Yeah,
They're subtle here, but they become pronounced as you go forward.
in Halo 1 Anniversary, they're not too different. They've got a little more detail, a little more greebling, but Halo 4 hadn't come out yet.
So I haven't played Halo 4, but I have since learned of the style shift on Forerunner architecture.
Yeah, have you seen any of it? I know I haven't shared any of it with you.
No. The most I've seen is you talking about the differences in Halo 2 Anniversary while we were playing that on release.
Yeah, Halo 2 Anniversary shifted the art style a little bit towards Halo 4's Forerunner, but it's still not quite the same. I recently replayed Halo 4, and yeah, it's way different. Here we actually see, yeah, look, here's the cliff face for us, for real, and then, I guess, yeah, there, you can kind of really see how much it carves away.
Yes. Hold on, hop down and we can show the viewer. Hang on. Oh,
Yeah, you're just,
how am I doing that?
Whoa, Master Chief, more like Magic Chief.
It gets more egregious as we go, too.
I'll do a little crossfade here to the totally natural formation of the cave. Because that's really all there is to see in this level beyond these outdoor areas. They look nice. So actually, before we get to the light bridge, let's take a look at this useless structure that's... Again, they've just added more to it. It has like these glowy bits, it has a little bit of that detail, and... My problem with this as a decoration object still stands, but at least it looks pretty now. Oh, this area, actually,
Yeah.
in the classic, it's not really clear that this is a furrow it made in the ground. Like, if you look, you can kind of tell eventually. Like, oh yeah, Anniversary, it's like, yep, this is blasted out Earth, and it's...
Yeah.
It's good, these are good attentions to detail.
Which makes certain other omissions a little baffling.
Yeah, the Anniversary is really hit or miss, I'll be honest. Some things are quite good, like this level, some things are less good, like the next. Ah, here, excellent. Okay. Tree? Tree. Oh no.
Uh-oh, another bandit dropping in behind us. They're trying to flank us.
Okay, hold on. Skelzor is hidden. Skelzor is not hidden.
Yeah, this is weird.
Yeah.
Because well, it's weird because I imagine Halo's level editor has to have something like an asset rescaler. Kind of... I don't want to try to style on this game too hard, but like, here's a clip of me in the Unreal Tournament 2004 editor resizing a static mesh with a couple keystrokes. Oh, bigger than before. So I don't know why the trees are such an issue for Halo 1 Anniversary.
If I remember, Halo's editor is actually quite quirky.
Yeah, but this was made by... the Anniversary was done by Saber Interactive. And you know what? I don't know anything about Halo's editor, so... especially not in the later games.
Yeah, I'm not going to speak with any authority. I've heard from people that apparently it's quite difficult to use just due to its weirdness. But yeah, I don't know for certain. So take that with a grain of salt.
So I don't know. If you're with Saber Interactive, sorry, I don't mean to make light of what might be a pretty difficult job. So, God, I know I keep saying we'll see in the bridge room, but there's just so many things. So, this area, we see our really first example of mood changing, where it's very blue and cold colored in here right now. But of course, going back to Classic, it's a little more neutral. I don't have any real opinions about this room in particular, but it's something that goes forward. Also, in the Anniversary graphics, you get the addition of terminals, which we're not gonna do these. They add backstory. It's pretty needed. Halo 1's is kind of weird because it's talking about a lot of stuff leading up to this game. It's like prequel sort of stuff. Maybe some concurrent stuff as well. It's weird. It's there if you want it. We're not going to talk about it right now. I think the addition is fine, good, even. But shrug. That's it. I have no damning opinion one way or the other about the addition of them. I think in Halo 2 they're much better.
I remember when we were going through the game that I was saying that they actually feel like quite a necessary addition. They add a lot of context that the game doesn't give you.
Yeah, I think that's more true for Halo 2, though. Just because in Halo 1 it is talking about a lot of stuff that happens before this game, a lot of concepts that never get introduced in this game and don't actually matter in the larger picture.
I know I talked about the supplemental material in the series up to now. Did I ever say outright that I have actually read the original novelizations?
I believe you did. You mentioned you'd read a couple of them.
Yeah. So yeah, they kind of go into some of the stuff that was covered in the novelizations. Sorta. So hey, this room.
Yeah, this room, much more high-tech. For sure. Again, very cold atmosphere, much more brightly lit. Still don't know what it's for, but it's definitely more detailed.
Yep.
This is one of the rooms where I will say I don't think the atmosphere change is particularly good, even though this room has no purpose beyond clicking that button. I think that the dusty purple
There must be some mechanism to cross this chasm.
of the distance
Look for a
is
control panel or switch.
a little more striking than just blue. Science fiction is always blue these days. Or, you know, again, this is from 10 years ago, but...
Well, a thing we have to sort of state that is kind of important when it comes to especially the anniversary editions of Halo, is that they had to make it more visually impressive, right? There was a pressure to be like, oh, we got to utilize the new graphical developments that have happened between now and then, right? We've got to really wow people because we're remaking everything visually. So there are a lot of changes that are pretty unnecessary, right? But I can understand from a development standpoint that they would have been pushed for, just to create more visual detail. Be like, wow, look at the graphics, right?
Sure. And I don't have a real problem with it. I just think,
no.
as an artist myself, for as much weight as that can carry in this context, thinking about the color theory and how colors used to set a mood, I think that this room is less effective than this room.
I would agree with you on that count, absolutely.
That's just my 2 cents, and again, there are much more egregious examples of this coming up. So we're gonna hit this bridge, head on over, and we will see you in Truth and Reconciliation.
The enemy has captured Captain Keyes and are holding him aboard one of their cruisers, the Truth and Reconciliation. The ship is currently holding position approximately 300 meters above the other end of this plateau.
So how do we get inside the ship if it's in the air? The Corps issued me a rifle, not wings.
There's a gravity lift that varies troops.
This thing won't turn on a dime, Skellzor.
Once we get inside the ship, I should be
That's
able to
literally
lock on
what
the
it's
tracking
designed to
of Captain
do.
Keyes' neural implants.
So
Hit 'em, Marines! Go, go, go! The
we
Corps ain't paying us by the
didn't
hour.
see the end of the last
Stick to the
mission
higher
because we
ground to
just
the right.
exited.
We should be able to
But
recon the
didn't
Covenant position without being
didn't
spotted.
in the original
I've detected
graphics
Covenant
Cortana
stationary
say
guns near the next pass.
that
I recommend using
the
your
Truth and
sniper rifle to take out the
Reconciliation
gunman
was on
while I
a
call for Marine
desert
support.
plateau?
Get ready to move in to support us, Sergeant.
She did say that,
Master
yes.
Chief is going to
Wait a
covertly
second,
take
let's
out
take
as
a
many of the
look.
Covenant as he can.
Oh yeah, this
Don't
looks
open
way more
fire
like a
until you
desert
hear the enemy
plateau.
return fire on us. That should let us keep the element of surprise.
Uh-oh, what happened here?
So now we actually get a much better look at the distant geometry change.
Yeah, whereas this is very flat. This is...
You get like storms off in the distance, mountains. I like this
Yeah.
sort of distant geometry addition. Changing the desert plateau into this is
Yeah. It's also weird because, like, the other areas around here are definitely just, like, rocky desert stuff. And, I mean, I'm not opposed to making the night a little more, like, brighter and colorful and bluer, but I actually really like this skybox. Something about it. Just the way the space is black. The way the ring is so luminous against it. And something about this shade of, like, tan. This right here really reminds me of, like, a classic 70s sci-fi novel cover, and I'm not just talking about Ringworld here. Just something about the color palette and the composition of it is very classic. And I
100%.
think, like, here you switch to the anniversary and you can't even see the ring above you because of the cloud cover. You can't even see the planet. And the, something about the ship itself, it looks closer in these graphics, to me, anyway.
I think, so something I actually want to point out in comparing the two graphics is that the new design is much more reminiscent of what the Covenant design would become, where they try to go for that more insect-like carapace segmented sort of look, right?
Absolutely.
The lights are much more concentrated. Whereas if you switch to the older design, everything is sort of more flat and smooth. But they do the classic thing of like, oh, we made our ship model and then we put a bunch of like fiber optic things everywhere to make it look like it's got a bunch of lights, right?
Yeah, and I think that's what always made me think this was really far away. Like,
And big.
yeah, even though, again, we can tell, just like with the Halo
Mm-hmm.
model outside of the Pillar of Autumn in the first level, we can tell that this is just sitting above this, like, this bit of terrain.
But that's the thing. Yeah.
Yeah, the way
you
they
said that,
use the details.
Yeah. You said that they tried to evoke a very classic 70s sci-fi, and I think even the older look of the ship really does that. Because it looks like one of the old props from those old movies, right? Whereas
Yeah.
the new one is very slick and
Yeah,
bug-like.
this looks like something someone threw together for like $100 with some old Tupperware and some spray paint and a quick trip to Home Depot. This looks like a Covenant CCS battleship or whatever.
And it's not inherently worse. It's
No.
just
No,
that
this
it's very different.
This looks more like the Halo that would be. This looks like crazy sci-fi bullshit.
Yeah.
Which I'm just way more a fan of this particular diorama they're showing us here. And of course it turning into a verdant woodland when it's supposed to be a desert. Okay, before we get there, I will say, this skybox, quite nice, quite pretty.
Yes.
This is still just so classic looking. Not bad. You got your oranges and your blues, but it was 2011, that's where we were at that point.
I mean, people call attention to orange-blue contrast, but I mean, it's used because it looks good. Like,
Yeah, I mean, again, color theory, it's they're complementary colors. They look good together. I do like, you know, you have all this extra detail, all this extra foliage and stuff, and then you take a look at the cliff wall, and it's just like, texture, different texture. That's it. It's, very jarring when it doesn't all come together.
We're in. I've got a good lock on the captain's CNI transponder.
Yeah.
Defenses detected.
Way different.
big difference.
Huge difference. Obviously, it looks more like it does in the later games, but even just looking at it, it's just more interesting.
Yeah. Remember what you were saying about the turrets and the wraiths? They're not usable?
Yeah. So again, here's a Halo 1 Wraith. And here's a Halo Reach Wraith.
I'd say it's a lot more apparent that it's a vehicle in the anniversary graphics.
Oh, for sure. You see this, you don't know what the hell this is. Which I guess is kind of part of the mystery, like they show it to you so early and then you get to assault in the control room and you just get splattered by its artillery and it's like, what the hell? But no, I think some attention could have been paid to this to like take this out, but whatever, it's only jarring if you really care about looking at it. It's not like
So,
it fires where before it didn't.
So we get a look at the stealth elite armor here too. We killed one of them over here. So we can talk about, yeah, it's not just a color, they
Yeah.
actually look different.
They have different helmets, much more obviously white armor, rather than just... What I think it is, I don't know if it's supposed to be light blue, I think it's supposed to be like pearl. Because you have the blues and the cyans and the like teal and the purple in it, and that's a very mother of pearl kind of
And
color
I
palette.
could buy that, because the armor is definitely supposed to, in the original, evoke the look of like a shell or a carapace, or, you know, chitin, kite,
Yeah.
however it's pronounced. we can get a better look at some dead hunters now. It's a hunter.
Yeah.
The orange is a lot less, like the orange bits, a lot less pronounced. That it actually kind of has a subtle like glow to it in the original.
It does, yeah, and the blood is very bright. But yeah, way bulkier. The shield looks smaller, but everything else looks a bit bulkier. I guess that's what happens when you use weird space worm steroids.
A thing is the fuel rod gun has a completely different design.
Yeah, because this is using the, again, it's just the Reach model. Yeah, the fuel rod guns on the Hunters would undergo some changes throughout the series, of course. Because in Halo 2, when you could pick up the fuel rod gun, the Hunters then used, like, a plasma flamethrower beam.
Yeah.
Door's locked, sir. No way through.
We could use the side passages to find a way around.
Sitting ducks in that narrow space.
So yeah, these, big attention I want to call to these doors. These are, like, so out of place against the rest of the series. It's just these, like, generic sliding doors you'd see at a mall. But then...
The funny thing is, if you actually look at the door model in Anniversary, you can actually see the triple segment sort of thing they'd be doing later, right? But then it just opens like a sliding door because it's the same, like, function.
Yeah. Generally, what I have to say about this, it's just much more Covenant.
Yes.
The Covenant in Halo 1 are... Their art style is way different than even Halo 2 onward. And you can tell that they figured it out in Halo 2, and that's what they stuck with, and they abandoned a lot from Halo 1, like these doors, a lot of the angular stuff we're going to see here, they've just done away with, and they try to mitigate some of it in the remaster, but there's only so much you can do with the actual layout of the room.
There's also these symbols on the doors, and you really wouldn't see Covenant iconography anywhere after this, right? Like, it just goes.
Yeah.
So now we get to pour through the same small corridors, 90-degree angles. They can make it prettier, but they can't
Yeah.
change the layout.
And that's the thing. But we're not going to do that. We're going to move on to the next level.
Yeah.
So we'll see you there.
We're approaching the LZ. It's gonna be hot. Get set to cut out quick. Touchdown. Hit it, Marines.
Go, go, go!
So here already we can see they'd added more stuff in the distance. Just again, extra geometry. It's nice, it's pleasant to look at. It's not a weird flat expanse that begs us to ask, where the hell did everything else go? So I think it looks nice. It looks like you could walk out there and go to another island and like have a different adventure. This structure, very much the same looking, maybe a little cleaner, but whatever. Just again, updated textures. Not much to say about this really, it's just another one of those areas that I feel is better.
The white sand certainly evokes a much more tropical vibe for the beach.
Definitely.
But of course, all the trees and plants are still this same weird sort of, I don't know, what would you call this?
It's just kind of generically arboreal.
It's somewhere between like a willow and a pine.
Yeah, I mean obviously it's alien,
Yeah.
but it's still something that's, you look at and you're like, yeah, that looks like a tree. It's kind of, it's one of those generic platonic ideals of tree.
Yeah.
But once again, The actual trees themselves don't really line up that well.
No. It's not as big a deal here though.
No.
You know our motto. We deliver.
Yeah, I definitely think that this area is just better looking. The like you mentioned, the white sand helps contrast it. It feels brighter because of that, and there is some changed lighting, but just it's a more vibrant color palette, and it just shows.
I think the overhanging vines and moss also really help sell the environment a lot more.
You were wearing that man as a hat for a second.
Only a brief second.
Don't let them lock
We
the doors.
see more stuff down here. Definitely more Forerunner nonsense.
Ow.
I think Holy shit! Holy shit!
Might have overdone it with the grenades.
We have infinite ammo, that means infinite grenades too.
Yeah. Oh.
I'll bet the silent cartographer is somewhere inside that facility.
It's fine. Yeah, we'll take a look at some of the more dense Forerunner architecture here. So, yeah. I mean, obviously, the original is missing its bump mapping from the Gearbox port, thanks Randy, etc. But it's still just, these are very simple shapes. They're like they do a lot with the geometry they have. They definitely create something that is recognizable, but it's still just not very interesting. The Anniversary takes it and kind of runs wild with it. You do see some influence from, I guess, what would become Halo 4. Very weird. Yeah, more lights, differently placed. These, like, glowy panels are different.
Don't let them lock the doors.
Security system.
So, we've said it before, I'll say it again. There's no real better or worse with this.
No.
They certainly put in work to make areas that were kind of dull and drab more interesting, and whether that works or not is entirely dependent on you personally. I think, for the most part, a lot of these areas do look better. I like the newer look.
Definitely. I would agree with that overall. I think the work that Saber put in is very admirable, definitely worthy of commendation. Could not have been easy.
We need to
No.
find the security override to get this door open.
We'll get to some areas that I have some problems with later, but
Yeah.
you know, it is what it is.
One of those geometry mismatches that apparently somebody noticed and, oh yeah, here it is, had an interesting solution for.
Ah, this, yes.
So we see this rock, these two rocks in the original graphics, and they look, you know, they're blocky. It's like a rock that was like cut in half or something. It fell off, it fell out of there, and, you know, broke in half. And like that's, you see some of the Forerunner architecture back here, and you still do there. That's pretty cool, right?
Yep.
And then it's well, it's not. I don't know if the implication was supposed to be that, like, the rock formed around this piece of wall, or if it's literally what it looks like, and someone said, ah, shit, we don't have a rock model that matches up with this any better. I'll just stick a section of wall in there and hope that players drive by it too quickly to notice. Because, like, the rock is mostly good. You have, like, that, but the areas where this section of Forerunner wall is are very deliberately chosen to more closely make up for the deficits in this rock.
I'm gonna be honest, I think it might even actually just be them misinterpreting this area, because if you come and have a look, so you can see in the classic graphics, it's very clearly a chunk taken out of the rock, right?
Yeah.
But on the anniversary, you see how it's like smoothed down?
Yeah.
I think it might actually be a misinterpretation of what this is supposed to be.
It might be. Yeah, we see how it kind of more closely matches up, and it's very weird, because if it is supposed to be like, oh, the rock grew around it, first of all, no. Second of all, it looks shoddily done. It looks like you're just intersecting two different meshes to solve a problem, instead of remaking this rock. Because it's too clean to be like somebody made these wall sections with the intent purpose of like creating this specific silhouette. It's very strange.
It is very odd.
This is as far as I can go.
Roger that. We'll be able to find our way to the control center from here.
Good luck. Bowhammer out.
Lot to talk about going forward here.
Yeah. And definitely very big changes to the architecture.
Again, everything is much more brightly lit, lots more detail, especially on the walls. More light sources.
Yeah, this is definitely more like generic put lights everywhere sci-fi against the dusty sort of brutalism of the original. I think I like this area less in Anniversary. It's a little too much. It's too ostentatious.
Well, something I want to point out is that, as you said, put lights everywhere sci-fi, there's that whole design thing of, like, if you look over at this wall, it's like, oh, put a bunch of, like, neon lines on it, that'll make it look high-tech, right?
Yeah.
And that's a design thing that you see here and there, not just in the Halo series, but just, like, in sci-fi in general. It's like shorthand for, ooh, advanced technology. If you go back to the original, you got this odd sort of, like, texture to the wall, and then there's a bunch of, like, little blinky lights, almost like, little indicators on a server rack or something.
Yeah.
And it's more interesting, and I think they could have done something with that, but, you know.
Yeah, this is definitely different. It's... I mean, sure, you have, like, your tech walls in Doom that were full of blinking lights, but this is definitely selling the mysterious aesthetic of the Forerunners a little more than this. Yeah. Again, I alluded to it in the intro of the very first episode, but even if... Oh, hello. Even if... Sorry, you can see what's going on here. Even if they had fixed the issues in the Gearbox port, better graphics wouldn't make these any different. We'd still be going through these same rooms. We'd still be talking about hallways. So let's just get to the good part. Enjoy this crossfade. Alright, and the outdoors now.
There's a lot more detail to go over.
There sure
feast for the
is.
eyes.
And already we can see even the Wraith particles are... Again, they're just what would become, they're a little more purple, less blue. There's a fun detail with the Covenant stuff here. And I'm going to flip over this Warthog to blow up this ghost to show you. Well, then the Marine took the ghost, so I guess I won't.
But so these icicles that are hanging, there's a lot more snow in the air. Pines are a lot more frosty looking.
The distance seems foggier and colder. Cause like this in Classic, it looks cold, right? It's it's white. There's snow, you can tell. This looks like it's cold out here. Oh well, that ghost blew up. So yeah, anniversary, purple fire. And if you remember from our playthrough, of course, Covenant vehicles blow up orange and yellow and just regular balls of flame in the original. So yeah, they changed it to, again, what the series would have later. It's just more Covenant. Oh, and here we can take a look at the tank closer up. Yeah, so this is literally just the Reach model. They did remove the gun from it, rather than doing that for the Wraith. But the pit is still there for someone to hop into. So already we can see it's a lot denser.
A lot more vegetation, but also brighter.
A lot more popping as well.
Yeah.
The last transmission from the captain's dropship was from this area. That was over 12 hours ago. When you locate Captain Keyes, radio in, and I'll come pick you up.
So, switching between, you can immediately notice that the fog distance has been increased. So you can see further.
You can see
whether
further, but I don't know. This is the original is way more oppressive
and moody.
You can definitely tell it was an artistic choice because we've seen this game's draw distance. It's fine. It's very far. So like this close fog was absolutely a choice they made intentionally, and I think again they turned it blue. Whereas it's like this gross gray with a little bit of purple.
The original look really sells this like foggy, dank, stinky swamp that's like alien. You got these big bulbous things that glow. And then you switch to the new graphics and it's like, I don't know, it's swampy, I guess. You got this like sort of volumetric fog stuff going on. But the alien plants are much brighter. You can see a lot further.
It's way it doesn't do the same thing for me.
If I had to use if I had to describe it in a word, right, the new look is like misty and wet, whereas the old look is like choking and like, I don't know, claustrophobic sort of, without really being, you know.
I'd agree. Yeah, this seems more just like we're in a rainforest and it's a little humid out.
Yeah.
This is like, oh, we are in for some scary stuff. Did you already grab the shotgun?
No, I didn't.
Is
it not there?
They're supposed to be here.
Hang on, check the ship itself, maybe.
No.
Oh dear.
I don't know. Maybe there's a weird bug where the shotgun only spawns sometimes. You saw the video clip where I showed the shotguns here on easy.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Another little change is these little firefly dudes. It's subtle, but there's more of them, and they're a bit more vibrant in their color.
I do wonder if somebody at Saber Interactive put forward the idea of putting like birds in the sky and little like critters hopping around.
Well, unfortunately that's one of the things that like you lock yourself out of when you commit to being able to switch between new and old, right? It's like
Even then, like little like bird textures in the sky, I don't think it would.
well,
matter
birds
that much.
maybe, but like critters hopping around is something you definitely. Well, I don't know. There's probably a way to do it, but anyway.
I mean, they don't
another
have to be like targets.
So another big difference is this dropship. So it's crashed in both versions. In the original, the panels sort of popped open, but in the new, it's gone.
Yeah, it's gone entirely, but you still can't hop in.
Mm-hmm.
Invisible Covenant force field technology. The visible shields are only to throw us off.
They added these running vines between the trees too, which, you know, sure.
Yeah, I do like them. Again, it's just... it looks more like a rainforest now.
Yep.
Ah, that's why I couldn't get up there. Sometimes you'll run into that of like, I think I can stand there. No.
The geometry on this this tree we're walking on is pretty different too.
Yeah. Nice. This rock is really shiny.
Yeah. Very slick.
And I guess it is raining. We don't have a whole lot to look at here. Just because...
It is what it is.
Yeah, we've already talked about the change to the architecture in the Forerunners. It's... although here again, it's blue, it's way more silver, it's a much colder color palette, and
Angular sci-fi lines.
Yeah, it's way brighter. Which, I think, just like the swamp, I think if you wanted any level to be brighter, it wasn't this one.
Hmm. The change in brightness certainly hurt it. Oh dear.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I got way ahead of myself. Well... you think you got him?
No, I think we could use a few more grenades.
There's still something on the motion tracker.
Okay, now we got him.
I just wanted to make sure.
So they tried to sort of gussy up this little box hallway, but
There's only so much you can do. Again, you can't change the level design, so you're stuck with
oh, hang on,
uninspired
that's yeah, glass up there. That's, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Eh.
So this is a room with one of the most obvious changes that like really hurts the art direction of the old level.
Oh,
so the
yeah.
dripping stuff from the ceiling, it's a lot less apparent in the new lighting and the new graphics.
Yeah, it doesn't create any decals where it drops.
Yeah. And if you look up in the original, you can see they're like weird green spores, whereas in the new, it's just like, I don't know, what is that?
You get
Ash.
light. It's so bloomy. It's so bloomy.
So that's one of those changes where it's like there was the original intent, and they sort of just went their own way with it.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. This is another one. So there's roughly the same amount of blood, both versions, but the blood is way more pronounced in the classic look, whereas in the new it's a bit more.
Yeah, it's
more distributed.
the lower resolution, so it's like physically a larger decal. Whereas this is supposed to be like more like stringy and spray and all that.
I mean, it's, yeah. Hi. Oh, okay. Here's one I love to point
yeah.
out. Yep. So the Needler magazines are back, and it's the exact same model with the slightly different texture.
Yep. And you might be like, oh, what about this part? Well, no. That's only the lighting changing that makes it look like it's going inward. They're just the same model.
Because they only show up here. Like, the effort it would take to introduce a new model would not be worth it.
And if they did, I'd really have questions as to why they couldn't remove the turret from the Wraith. Oh, it's this guy. Shut up, Marine.
Rude.
We've already
So yeah,
heard him.
here's another room that's I guess the drifting down fog is better, but
It's definitely this. I think this room is better.
yeah,
It's more. It's a little more sinister with
Yeah.
the harsh patches of light against the shadow versus just like, here's a big radial lime green light source. Deal with it.
the busted geometry is more jagged. Oh yeah, the glass. So yeah, the broken up pathway here is more jagged. You can see little reinforcing like beams in it and stuff. And
Yeah.
Sure. So this blood is a lot more like, well, it's just straight up not there in the original. So they added blood here.
No, so there is blood here before the cutscene, but after it, there isn't.
Ah, okay.
But now we do get
So
to see the
yeah.
flood, and these flood are the Halo 3 flood.
So there's a big difference in the way they look. So, these little tentacles with like the red feathery looking things on them. That was a design decision made in Halo 3 to like, I don't know, just that little red highlight really makes them pop, I guess.
Yeah.
But so in the original model, and we're not really going to get a good look at it because these guys are so wiggly. They do have like little weird feathery tendrils that stick out. They're just not they just don't have as much like, they don't have like brushy ends on them.
Yeah, you can see they are reddish, but it's definitely overshadowed by them pulsing this green glow. And once we can look at the combat forms, we definitely will.
I believe that's now. Yep, here they come.
Ah, I brought one right to us.
Perfect.
So, yeah, they're, much the same. I don't know if this is the Halo 3 model offhand.
I don't think it is. I think this is... I don't know. You can see that red feathering a lot better on the,
Yeah, and then
And then if you switch back, you can see they're like little red feelers.
It's definitely there, but Halo 3 definitely made it more pronounced. Yeah, it's easier to tell that this is an elite and not just like a weird malformed human, because they're still wearing the armor. Their face is a little more distinctly elite versus something that looks like it could be another tentacle.
Yeah.
I guess that's about all we really have for this level right here. So
Yeah, it's, you've seen it all.
we'll take a very quick look at the library, mainly because
Tried with the library.
nothing can save the library.
Nothing can save the library.
Oh, the library.
Everyone's favorite stage.
They have certainly put More shit on the walls.
They tried to pack in detail. But ultimately it's like, I don't know. What can you do? It's all the same flat geometry and you just sort of
Yeah.
throwing in extra lines.
There's lights. It's blue now again. They turned all the Covenant or the Forerunner stuff blue rather than purple, hazy lit. Whatever. It's the library. We've literally already seen everything this level has to offer.
Yep.
We'll go through one little combat turn here before we bail.
The potatoey boys, same animation.
Yeah, a little growlier looking.
I would say at most it's just this. It might even be the same model with a different texture.
And we've got some light rays coming up. That's kind of nice looking.
Yeah.
Like, it definitely looks better, but again, nothing can save this level design.
No.
So we're not even going to attempt. We'd just be saying the same things over and over again, and I really don't want to play this again right now. So we'll hop back to the snowy canyon for 2 betrayals. This will be another quick look, mainly because obviously it's just Assault on the Control Room backwards, but the time of day does change, so
No, nothing.
we'll see.
We didn't see this room before, so we also get to
Yeah.
know the difference here.
So something I want to bring up that I actually forgot to in the time we played this. This hologram suggests that the Halo is orbiting around this planet in a way that it very much does not in-game. So I wonder if this is something left over from an earlier iteration of the world,
Certainly possible.
where the Halo was much more massive and did have a planet at its center.
Cortana.
I've spent the last 12 hours cooped up in here watching.
So we also
you
get to see
about,
here
but
how
that thing gets
her
sent to slit
underlying
our throats.
color changes as she emotes,
I didn't realize.
which
He's your pal.
doesn't
Is he your
happen
chum?
in the
Do you have any idea what that bastard
classic
almost
version
made
built
you
off
do?
of the Gearbox port.
Activate Halo's defenses and destroy the Flood. which is-
That's another shader transparent generic.
You mean this?
Yeah.
A construct in the core? That is absolutely unacceptable.
Sod off.
What?
So
I shall purge you at once.
You sure that's a good idea?
that's not really something Americans say.
How?
No.
How dare you? Oh,
I wonder if
what?
at some point
I
she
have
was
the
supposed to be
index.
British,
You can just float and sputter.
and then
Enough.
at some point whoever her voice actors is like, no, I
The
can't do
Flood
a
is
convincing
spreading.
British
If we
accent.
activate Halo's defenses,
So they're like,
we can
okay,
wipe
just
them out.
speak
You
with
have no
a
idea how this ring
vague
works, do you?
Northeastern
Why the
American
Forerunners
accent
built
then.
it? Halo doesn't kill Flood.
But they didn't
It
change
kills
the
their
line.
food. Humans, Covenant, whatever. We're
Again,
all
this
equally
game was
edible.
cobbled together.
The only
Like,
way to stop
Oh,
the Flood
yeah.
is to starve
they
the
literally the
And
paint
that's
was still
exactly
drying
what
when it
Halo
was
is
shipping to
designed
various
do.
retailers.
Wipe the galaxy clean of all
Yeah.
sentient life.
And
You don't believe me?
heading back to the
Ask
final
him.
level pretty soon, we'll actually see some areas that are getting paint for the first time,
Yeah.
as it were.
Won't that be fun?
more or less. Technically, this installation's pulse has a maximum effective radius of 25,000
So even just in this
light years.
cutscene, you can see they
But once
put a
the
bunch
other
of
pulse,
light line,
this
neon
galaxy
line
will
bullshit
like the point of life,
everywhere
or at least
for
any
the
life was
anniversary.
Yeah.
to sustain the Flood. But you already knew that. I mean, how couldn't you?
Left out that.
Once again, we see the foreshadowing of some eventual plot points.
Step up the way as we manage this crisis.
Chief,
Uh,
picking up
Bungie didn't write this entirely by the seat of their pants, but
We need
just
to
mostly.
go right now.
Last time
They had some ideas that were probably set and they stuck with, but you can tell that there's a lot of like.
There's no choice.
I think my biggest thing with like Bungie being terrible at conveying information, every Halo game feels too short.
Yes.
It feels like they're just rushing you from resolution of plot point to resolution of plot point without giving you a level where they set that up.
Which is pretty funny because a lot of I would say that there are a lot of points in the various Halo games that drag out, right?
Yeah, it's very weird.
So they're both too long and too short.
We can't let the monitor activate
So here,
Halo.
this is
We
look at
have
the
to stop
difference
him. We
here.
have to destroy
yeah.
Halo.
Like
According
even
to
like
my
this
analysis
isn't
of
even
the available
transparent
data,
anymore.
I believe the best course of action is somewhat risky. An explosion of sufficient size will help destabilize the ring, and will cut through a number of primary
Hold
systems.
on.
We need to trigger
What
a
you got?
detonation
Okay,
on a large
there's a
scale,
little
however.
ring between the moon and the planet.
Starship's fusion reactors.
Oh
So
shit!
maybe, yeah.
Okay, so I've never actually seen
I'm
that.
going to search what's left of the Covenant
It's much
battle
more
and
visible
see if
here.
can
I
locate
just
the pillar
don't
on
think
the
I've ever
crash
stuck
site.
around long enough for it to come
If
into
the ship's
view.
fusion reactors
Yeah.
are still relatively intact.
Okay, well I
then
am mistaken.
Destroy Halo.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Although that absolutely could be a last-minute addition to sort of,
Well.
justify it.
There's also it rotated away. There was a little like location. Whoa.
Mhm.
Hey, go to
What?
classic graphics real quick.
Yeah.
Their reflection map is
Misaligned.
incorrect. You just straight up can't see the hologram through the floor here. That's why it's different in Anniversary.
That's an interesting way to solve that problem.
I've
That's
never
a
noticed
very
that.
interesting solution to that problem.
Hilarious. So this area isn't really that much different lighting-wise from the first time we were through, compared to in Classic where it's noticeably darker. And even here you can tell that the snow is picked up a little. But it's kind of just the same. It's this luminous, dark teal. Whatever.
More, fancy light lines for the Forerunner structures. But generally the same stuff.
Yeah.
The Covenant network is absolute chaos. From what I've been able to piece
So already
together,
we can see
their
that this
leadership ordered
terrain
all
is
ships to
far
abandon
more
Halo when they
interesting and
found the flood,
detailed, which I
but
feel
they
like
were
I'm
too
saying a
late.
lot. But they've added
The flood overwhelmed this cruiser
just
and
more
disabled it.
stuff.
The Covenant are terrified the flood will repair the ship and use it to escape from Halo.
Cutscene's
They sent
still
in a strike
goofy,
team
though.
To neutralize the flood and repair the ship for
Yeah.
immediate departure. I've got a good lock on Captain Key's CNI transponder.
The
signal.
coolant is
He's alive,
very
and
different
the implants
looking.
are intact.
It's way
There's some
goopier.
interference from the cruiser's damaged reactor.
Like cool
I'll bring us in as
refractions
close
on
as I
it.
can.
And once we deal with this first
Analyzing
massive
data.
wave of nonsense.
This hole was caused by some
So
kind of explosive.
before, this was
Or
just a
before the ship's
texture.
hull.
But
I'll
here
let
they've
detect it.
actually modeled the full area where we will be. Which is probably the biggest change so far. It's
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 pretty
weird.
good change.
Yeah. This is a lot compared to what was there originally, which was, of course, just a texture. And you can see as we were falling, we were going towards a 3D area. And then we're just here. Still no hole where we jumped from,
Let's get out
however.
of here and find another way back aboard the
Yeah.
ship.
Which tells me that this very much is just the same model of the Truth and Reconciliation we've seen earlier.
I feel like if you look at the visuals on this coolant or whatever it is, It feels much more viscous in the original look. It feels much more like some sort of gelatinous sludge. Whereas,
yeah.
you know...
I don't know, this seems... It seems like it's flowing slower, and it's like pulsing outward as it does, so it feels very gooey.
Yeah.
Whereas this is just kind of like... It also looks gooey, it does look viscous, but it's just such a straight tube of it. It doesn't feel... It doesn't have that same gross, like, folding over itself kind of thing.
So, you know, it's better in some respects. I would say it's you know, good. There's good and bad in it. I think the transparency is I don't know. I'm not a big fan of that.
Yeah, in the pool itself, it doesn't look nearly as weird. This, I think this water looks better here. Yeah.
But anyway, that's that. The surrounding area obviously much more detailed, as Reckon said.
This is kind of just more flat cavern thing.
Much
this
more
is
brightly lit.
More brightly lit. Also, more varied color palette, because you do have a lot more purple coming down from the ship.
You got pieces of the ship, which, you know, they were always there, but now they're a bit more visible, so you can be like, oh...
Yeah, more visible, more obvious that's what they are. The terrain, again, just has more decals on it. It's got, like, this grass and stuff.
This also feels a lot more desert plateau than, the Truth and Reconciliation did.
So far, yeah. And I guess...
But again, ultimately, it's just narrow corridors and infinitely spawning floods, so... It looks good, but you can't save the bad design.
Yeah.
So we get this big, loving, sweeping flyby of the ship. Only now there's, you know, geometry around it.
Yeah. Still can't see that bridge.
No. I don't know where the hell that thing is.
I guess it's kind of faint praise, but I have always liked Halo's naming conventions for their ships. Although, weirdly, the human ships and Covenant ships share that convention, which I don't think should be the case. They're all, like, very esoteric phrases, like the Pillar of Autumn, the Truth and Reconciliation, in amber clad, Shadow of Intent. It's like, if you mix and match them, and you're like, you tell someone who's never played Halo before, like, you know, there's an alien race and a human race. I'm going to give you some ship names. What do you think they are? And I don't think you'd be able to tell.
You would be able to tell, though, with the best ship name in the entire series, which I don't think is actually in any of the games, which is the Truth for Flinching.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Then, in Halo 4, you get the, creatively named Infinity.
Hey, that game's coming out, maybe. So yeah, welcome back to the Pillar. It's the same, but scorched, just like in the original, but they actually put a bit more effort into making it look distressed this time. Instead of just smearing textures. Well, I guess it's smeared textures, but I don't know.
Like, it's kind of the same, just applying, like, weird soot texture to what was there.
Cowls and what have you.
this is where the fact that this isn't anything more than a cosmetic facelift really shows. Because they could have done a lot more with this of making it like way more beat up, but you know, they had to get the original game in there, so.
So I'm actually going to check something while we're here. Cryo B.
Oh yeah, is she here at all?
Let's find out. If I could get past these damn sentinels. Petty Officer John 117. So then that would mean if we go around here... Ah, the door's locked. Is it locked on that side?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a... Oh no, hey look! This screen has it.
Yep.
So hey, we'll take care of the flood here. And then
Well, you do your talking, look at what you need to.
Alright. Well, I want, you know, I actually want it to show up on... So go take a look, and then I'll do my talking.
I already did.
Yeah, Linda 058.
Wait, is he a Master Chief or a Petty Officer? Those are two different ranks.
Yeah, those are actually.
Gee, Bill, why does your mom let you have 2 ranks?
So anyway, that's something they added to the anniversary graphics. It's a shout out to the novel. Linda in the books is part of the Spartan unit that Master Chef Excellence is part of, and they're besties. They're you know, they're best buds, gal pals even, and
always good for your main character to never mention someone like that in their life.
Yep.
Ever. Across 5 games.
Well, it's funny because her characterization would actually be reused in Halo Reach, because she was the cold sniper type, right? She was like super marksman lady. But then, you know, we get Jun in Reach. We'll get to him. But yeah, she was in the book. She was a pretty cool character. She was a lot of fun. And then she kinda dies, if I remember correctly. Put her in a cryopod. You know.
So you're saying she's only mostly dead?
She's only mostly dead. And yeah, they put that in there as a nice little shout out to the character, because there are fans of the Halo extended media that like her quite a bit. I'm one of them. You never really see female Spartans in the series. Eventually they would add female voices to the multiplayer, and we would get Kat. We'll get to her.
We sure will.
There was also that one Spartan in Dead or Alive.
The volleyball game?
The, well, one of the Dead or Alive fighting games, not the volleyball game. God, I would have loved to have her return in the volleyball game. But, yeah.
See, like, if Cortana piped up and was like, hey, before you go to engineering, there's an armory you might want to check out. Who knows what we'll find in there? But here we are. It's the armory.
Yeah. The, Invisiflood, are they still here on easy? Yep.
Well, kind of stupid, though.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take a rocket launcher.
So will I.
And let's go to the room that suddenly has a texture. And get this over with.
Whee!
Oh my god, it's finished!
We're here.
Wow!
Just,
what a difference!
Just a reminder for everybody.
Yeah.
Yikes.
That's not even the biggest difference. Come on, we gotta go to my favorite
Oh
room.
yeah, we gotta go to the room.
Yeah.
Do enough damage to destroy Halo. Don't worry, I have access to all of the reactor schematics.
Holy shit!
Oh,
Look,
look.
this geometry.
Detail,
First,
and
we need
it's
to pull
like
back
got
the exhaust
stuff,
couplings.
and there are
That
lights
will
and
expose a shift that leads to
ah!
a primary fusion
It actually
drive.
looks like it serves some sort of function.
It looks like a reasonable access corridor, rather than
Walls,
whatever
yeah.
the fuck.
Walls have textures now. They added more lights. Oh man, this is crazy. My head is swimming. So here's another big old difference: is the texture on the elevator floor here.
Yeah. Glass.
Yep.
For carrying cargo.
Yeah.
Cortana to Echo 419.
Okay.
Analyzing.
Well,
We
that
have
almost
6
killed
minutes
me.
before the fusion drives detonate. You need
Here
to
we
evac
go.
now.
Let me
Final
know
countdown
if
timer. When it
if
reaches
you get
0, the
teleported,
engines
and I'll.
will detonate.
Whoops.
The
Yep.
explosion will generate a temperature
Oh,
of
these things
almost
handle so
100
bad.
degrees
Oh,
Celsius.
it's
And I'll
great.
like actually stop for you this time because I didn't
Yeah, yeah.
realize. I didn't realize last
No,
time.
it's fine. All right.
So this
here
has
we go.
been Halo. Look at the anniversary stuff and a reminder. I don't know what this place is. We're not going to harp on this too much. We're just going to sit back and enjoy it this time, I guess.
I think the added yellow is a nice visual touch.
It's nice. It's something other than just more gunmetal, vaguely metallic gray. But it's still just, this is such a nothing piece
Yeah.
of world.
Yep.
I mean, if you've watched our Dark Souls 2 videos, which are still not entirely complete, that's something I certainly care about a whole lot. Just like, what is this? Think about it. What the hell is this? But whatever. This has been Halo 1. Like I said earlier, I think we're going to do another video to take a look at some of the multiplayer maps.
Certainly.
Just to see what they're like as areas, not anything about like multiplayer theory or anything like that. The gameplay of them. Nothing,
Yeah,
nothing about that.
Mostly just to cap off what we were talking about with like unique areas, time spent making things.
Yeah.
It'll come back into play in later entries in this series where we talk about how this area is just a multiplayer map. But for now, we just do the rally and enrichment course on the Pillar of Autumn here.
Yeah, you gotta keep your Marines, you know, ready of limb. In case they have to bail out and drive 30 laps for some reason to save Earth.
Oh, teleported.
We
Go for
both
it.
got teleported.
Oh, wow.
Hilarious.
The checkpointing is so weird. Alright, here we go.
I've never been able to hit that.
Nope, neither have I. Hi.
Hello.
Oops.
Whee.
Oh, yeah, it's so
Cortana to Echo
obnoxious
419.
too.
Request extraction now
There we go.
on the double.
Affirmative, Cortana. Full hammer inbound.
So ultimately, Halo Anniversary treatment, good.
Wait, stop.
Right?
This is where Fohammer is coming to pick us up. Hold position here.
Overall good, some notable missteps.
This is
Cortana to
still
Echo
weird.
419.
This is still a
This
big
is-
empty space.
Evade. Say again. Evade.
I'm hit! Mayday! Mayday!
Goodbye.
What the hell? I can't hold her! I can't hold her!
Echo 419! She's gone. Calculating alternate escape route.
Yeah, once again, just subtitles that are
Inventory
not
shows one
spoken.
Longsword fighter is still docked in Launch Bay 7. If we move now, we can make it.
But you know what? This was actually the first time that there were subtitles in the campaign at all. so that's nice.
Yeah.
At time of recording, there are no non-cutscene regular gameplay subtitles for Halo 2. So when we start that,
we'll have to be a little more.
Yeah, I want to see if I can find a script for Halo 2 and put them in myself, because I think subtitles are a good thing.
Yeah.
Should be able to clear it.
Let's jump.
Especially in a game like Halo, where so much of the story is delivered to you while you're doing other things that are also loud.
Big bombastic battles. Let's do it. The final run.
We need to get aboard now.
So yeah, still huge. They added more detail. Still ridiculous. The model for the longsword's basically the same.
Yeah. Oh, and now it disappeared. Okay, so that was our look at Anniversary versus Classic and our thoughts therein.
We're cutting it close.
Thanks for joining us, and reminder to join us for another one pretty soon with a quick look at multiplayer locations and what they say. So as always, thanks for watching, and see you whenever we see you.
We appreciate your views. Thank you.
We do. Still can't see that bridge though.
Nope.
Shut them down. We'll need them later.
Should there be an auto shutdown for something like that?
You would think.
Like if your computer, if your CPU or your graphics card can automatically shut down if it gets too hot to protect itself, you'd think a spaceship engine would be able to do the same.
Would. You would think you'd actually have to do the opposite and enable some sort of override.
Yeah. Oh well.
Yeah.
Did anyone else make it?
Scanning. Just dust and echoes. We're all that's left. We did what we had to do for Earth. An entire Covenant armada obliterated, and the Flood. We had no choice. Halo, it's finished.
No. I think we're just getting started.